Welcome to another episode of The Latest with Maya. Today, I am very excited to have a conversation with comedian, actor, and television host Matt Iseman. Matt and I also have something in common. We went to the same high school. Um, Thank you so much for being on my show. I'm so excited to be talking with you.
Well, I'm excited to be talking with a fellow Cherry Creek High School graduate.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I wanted to tell you quickly, my mom also graduated from Cherry Creek.
I mean, it's a great school, Maya. Look at all the wonderful people who've gone there.
Yeah. Um, so who has had the biggest impact on the person you have become?
Um, Probably my mom. My mom and my parents. Well, okay. Obviously, the parents, right? Yes, my dad was a tremendous example. My parents, from the beginning, I think, encouraged me to do well in school, to put myself out there, but they also always encouraged my creative side. I remember when I was a kid, I used to do funny voices or sound effects, and my mom was the best audience. And I always say that's the reason I got into stand up comedy was to kind of recreate that feeling I got from my mom cheering me on. So I think those two would be the biggest influences, which is probably what most kids would say.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So what is the best piece of advice you have ever gotten?
Well, it goes back to my dad again. So, for those who don't know my story, I started down a different career path before I got in entertainment. I became a medical doctor. And when I was in my training, I kind of had this epiphany where I realized I don't think my heart's in medicine. I want to try something else. And the hardest part was telling my dad, who was a doctor as well, that I was thinking of leaving medicine to do stand up comedy. And when I told my dad, when I finally worked up the courage, the first words out of his mouth were, "Life is short, do what makes you happy. That's all your mom and I want." And so I think that advice, while it is, has just been so important to me to be able to pursue something that I loved. And it turns out I think I found what I was supposed to be doing all along. But it wouldn't have happened without that piece of advice and encouragement from my dad.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you had a warning label, what would yours say?
Warning. Probably the first thing would be loud. Warning, loud. My wife points out all the time. I'm a very loud guy. If you ever watch American Ninja Warrior, you know what I am on that show. Loud. Uh, Loud. Gassy. My wife points that out too. But the other thing is, doesn't take things too seriously, even serious things. And it's not as though I don't take them seriously. I just think my approach to things is always, when I'm in a difficult situation, I think when you have real emotions around something, you can cry or you can get angry or you can laugh. I tend to choose to laugh. It's how I think I try to deal with things. So that'd probably be my warning label: loud, gassy, and likes to laugh.
I like that.
It's actually seriously accurate too. So that's
Yeah. Yeah, my mom is just like about the laughter. That's like what
yeah.
she also like taught me and my sister. Just there's always something to laugh about. And
Yes.
so yeah. Um,
Well, sometimes the easiest thing to laugh about is yourself. And I
yeah.
think that's something too. I tend not to take myself too seriously, even when I do serious things. I think there's always, there's always a little bit of room to just remind yourself of, you know, you're certainly worth laughing at. And when you screw up, instead of getting mad, just going, "Wow, boy, was I foolish there?" Just kind of make fun of yourself sometimes. I think it goes a long way for
Yeah.
yourself and for others.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so what in your life brings you the most joy?
I think I love my job. I love doing my job, whether it's stand up comedy or hosting Ninja Warrior. I love being in front of a crowd. The thing I think I've realized about myself is I really like being around people. And I think the thing that brings me the most joy, excuse me, I just got back from Chicago where I spent all weekend with three of my best friends. And got something down the wrong pipe. I need a doctor here. And I think for me, what I've realized is I love being around my friends and family. I think and even when I'm doing stuff I love, I realize whether you're doing something fun or you're doing something awful, everything's better when you're with people you want to be around.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a very social person. I do better when I'm around people on a regular basis and interacting with them. So I love being around my friends and family. I think the people where, you have shared jokes. You have the inside scoop. You're talking about the days at Cherry Creek High School. One of my friends was from Cherry Creek, Maya. So, I've known him since, I mean, oh my God. Oh God, over 40 years I've known him. Wow. So it's been a long time. And it's just we're still friends. So I think being around friends and family, that's what brings me a lot of joy.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
That and video games. I still love video games. I don't put, I thought I would outgrow it. No, I still have a PlayStation 5. And my wife's like, "Do you really play video games?" And I'm kind of like, "Yeah." It used to be like, I'm like, I enjoy video games.
yeah, I like that. Yeah, just yeah, I think anything that brings you joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm the same way. I love being like around my friends and my family and
Yeah.
talking with them and yeah. Um of all that you have accomplished so far, is there something you are the most proud of?
Um, so I got to go on the new Celebrity Apprentice when Arnold Schwarzenegger was the boss, and I ended up winning the show, and and I loved it. I loved being on that show. It was, it's a goofy reality show, but you actually had to, kind of create presentations for brands, come up with, you know, a video to sell Trident gum, whatever it was. It really was fun. But the best part was in winning, I raised almost $1 million for a charity that's important to me, the Arthritis Foundation. I have rheumatoid arthritis. And so that was something I think that, at least in Hollywood, certainly in my over 25 years being in Hollywood, the thing I'm most proud of was getting to go on American Ninja War, or getting to go on Celebrity Apprentice. I was going to say American Ninja Warrior is incredible, and I love it. But I realize I'm the host. I'm so proud of what I've done. But the athletes are the ones who are out there doing it. And it was really fun to be on Celebrity Apprentice, where instead of being the one talking about doing things, I was the one out there doing them. And I just, so that was something I was very, very proud of, and raising money for charity.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there someone who without fail always makes you laugh?
Yeah. So one of the guys I was just with, I have a friend, Matt Rogers, who I met, I got like 2014 or something. We were doing a show on the Universal Studios backlot for Hallmark called Home and Family. And I got brought in, and on the first day I met this guy. And within like half an hour, we'd stolen a golf cart. We were driving around the back lot at Universal Studios, and we were laughing our heads off. And I just knew, I'm like, I'm going to be friends with this guy for the rest of my life. Now, cut to, um, it was, I got married in September. He was the officiant at my wedding. So he was the one who pronounced me and my wife, husband and wife. And he is someone who every time I'm around him, I call him a bringer of joy. That's what he does. And he always makes me laugh.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, yeah, there's so many people who always make me laugh. My mom and my sister, um they always make me laugh, and my best friend.
Well,
And so
I always tell that to people. It's because I'm in stand up comedy. And I always tell people, if you have a friend who makes you laugh, hold on to that friend, because that is such an important thing to have in your life, that release. Because I remember, like, when I was going through my rheumatoid arthritis, when I was really getting symptomatic before they figured out what was going on, it was really tough. Physically, I was in a lot of pain. I was really tired. It was all these challenges. But because I was doing stand-up comedy, because I was out every night laughing, making people laugh, being around it, it really kept me sane. So I just think that, it's one of those things that we think is, oh, that's, yeah, they make me laugh. But I think that's so important in life, especially when, things are going wrong, when things are tough. Finding someone who can still make you laugh, that's like, that's better than, alcohol or a good hike. For me, like, a good laugh is just one of the best feelings in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. I am pop culture obsessed and I go in stages of shows that I cannot stop watching.
Yeah.
Is there a show that you are currently obsessed with?
Big Brother. So this is funny. Big Brother's another reality show. It's on a rival network, CBS. But my one of my great friends out here, he was my producer on American Ninja Warrior, and I just adore this guy. And then he got a big break, and he had to leave us and go over to Big Brother. And I'm like, all right, listen, I'm gonna watch one episode to support my friend. By the end of the episode, I texted him like 162 times about the cast. I just became obsessed with it. And the thing I love is it's a great sociological experiment. These people being locked. For those who don't know, Big Brother, 16 or this season 17 people get locked in this house with cameras on, with nothing from the outside world. No internet, no phones. They don't have books. They don't even have paper or pencils to write things down, to journal. Nothing. All you have are the other people in this house, and there's a prize of $750,000. And it is just great to watch people scheme and fall apart, and really, you get to see a little bit of society at whole shaken up, and it's just a fun show to watch. And I love watching it from home because I'm not on it, because that's one of those shows. Like, it was fun being on Celebrity Apprentice, because at least you knew you'd had a task, you have something you can do. In this show, so much of this is your social game and how you angle with the other players. And so it's always these shifting sands, and how you ally with someone, how you get betrayed, how you handle it all. To me, it's just a great sociological experiment that we get to watch from the comfort of our couch.
Oh, I love that.
What about you, Maya? What show are you watching?
Oh, right now there's two that I'm obsessed with. There's a comedy on Netflix called Leanne.
We just started that. Isn't she
Oh,
funny?
yeah. She's hilarious. I love that show because
Yeah.
it just makes me happy.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching season 4 of The Bear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's an intense show.
yeah, it is. I've always wanted to watch it, but m my mom and my sister had started watching it when it came out, and so my mom now told me she really wants to watch the new season. And I was like, well, I've been wanting to watch it since it premiered, so I'll watch it with you. So we're
Oh, that's
watching The
great.
Bear together. So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So it's always nice to watch an episode of The Bear and then watch an episode of Leanne to laugh.
A little change, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Um, so what is the biggest obstacle you have overcome?
Um, well, the rheumatoid arthritis was a big challenge, I think, for me, because so for those, it's an autoimmune disease where your body attacks itself and it starts destroying joints in the feet and hands and kind of spreads throughout the body. And for me, it was something where I was always an athlete. I played sports when I was out. I got started getting symptomatic when I was out in LA doing comedy, and I was working out 5 or 6 days a week. And it was just something that I think, I my physical vitality had always been a big part of who I was, and over about 18 months, as this disease kind of took over my body, I really lost that, and it was one of those things where I kind of joked that I became an old man almost overnight, where physically I couldn't do the things I used to do. I was tired and sleeping, and I think finally getting diagnosed and getting treatment and being able to get a lot of my life back, that was a huge challenge, and I think something that kind of, and it's not all the way back. Like, I still have a lot of issues with my hands or with my feet, and a lot of stiffness, and it's one of those things that's become a part of my life. But I think it hasn't. I try not to let it slow me down, and so I think that's, dealing with a chronic disease probably has been the biggest obstacle in my life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm so sorry that you've had to go through that.
Thank you. And listen, again, it was really bad for 18 months while I was being diagnosed. When I got the treatment, I always say it was like a silver bullet. It was like a veil was lifted, and I went back. I got back a lot of it. But it always reminded me that it's fragile. Our health is fragile, and I think a lot of people get that, but it just depends at what age you kind of get it. And for most people, we hope people are healthy into their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s maybe. But for those who get hit, and I was 30, but a lot of people, a lot of kids get hit with it. And so it also gave me such a respect. Um, Having been a doctor, you're on one side of the stethoscope. And when you're on that other side, when you're the patient, it really is such a different experience. And so it gave me that kind of insight as well.
Oh, yeah. Um, so what genre of movie would your life story be told at?
I'd love to say an action movie, because that's what I like, but probably a comedy. I'd say a rom com because finally I'm married, but before that, mostly just a comedy.
I love that. Yeah, my dream is I want my life to be both a rom-com and a musical.
Oh yeah, I would love it to be a musical, but I can't sing, so I think people would prefer if it just stayed in the comedy realm. Maybe I could lip sync some of it.
Yeah, I can't sing either, so like in this world, I can sing.
Right. We'll
But
get someone to sing for us,
yes,
right?
yes. Um, what is something people are always surprised to learn about you?
I think a lot of people are surprised to know I'm a doctor. For people who don't know me, when you see me on TV and Ninja Warrior, you see me doing stand up, or I'm a pretty goofy guy. You wouldn't know that at one point I was a doctor. I think that's something that surprises people.
Well, yeah. Um, if you had a reality TV show about your life,
Oh,
what would your theme song be?
what would the theme song be? Um, the song that just popped into mind was Steve Winwood, "While You See a Chance, Take It." And that's kind of what, with me when I left medicine and came out to comedy. I think that was kind of the fork in the road for my life, was stay in a life in medicine, which would have been great. Obviously, being a doctor is such a, you know, an important career path, or take this forth where I ended up doing something that I love so much and that I still get to help people through raising money for charity, or with Ninja Warrior where you're encouraging people to be fit. So I think it's while you see a chance, take it.
Yeah, I love that.
That or Thunderstruck. I don't know that it has anything to do with it, but I love AC/DC.
I love that. Yeah. Is there a song that you are currently obsessed with?
What have I been listening to? There have been a few. I mean, here's what's crazy is I keep going back to old classics, and one songs like, how, Maya, you love a song and you listen to it and you listen to it and you listen to it so much where you're like, I still love the song, but I just don't listen to it anymore. But then you go like a few years and you come back to it, you're like, why did I ever stop listening to this song?
Yeah.
Any Way You Want It by Journey is one of those songs always where I every time I put that, I just think that is one of the happiest songs. And you know that idea, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Kind of that idea of the world is potential. You know, like you go out there and you make it happen. I love that song. What else? I Kelly Clarkson too. I'll go in spurts of. Dance with Me has been like the song I've been listening to a lot this summer because it just feels like a summer driving song. So I love that song too.
Yeah. Yeah, Kelly Clarkson is one of my all-time favorites.
What a voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I was it's still like so surreal to me. I was on the Kelly Clarkson show a couple years ago.
Really?
Yeah, that's still I it's it feels like a dream. Um,
Maya, that's amazing.
thank you. It
Isn't
was
she a sweetheart?
yeah, she is to just to meet her like it was such a full circle moment too because when I was 3 years old my make-a-wish was to meet her but they wouldn't grant it because they said I was too young.
Oh,
So it was such a full circle moment to like be sitting there with her and yeah.
well, she is a special person, and she
Yeah.
clearly recognized something special with you too, Maya. She knew.
Oh, thank you. Um, the song that I've had on repeat lately is well, I've had MGK's newest album on repeat.
Yeah.
So and I my mom actually I mentioned her that I was thinking of because we have a record player. I mentioned her that I was thinking of buying the album on vinyl and then she I was out somewhere and she texted me saying I bought you the album. Um, and so every time I listen to it, I have a new favorite song.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah. Yeah, yeah, so if you had the opportunity to put a message on a billboard for everyone to see, what would it be?
Wow. Probably watch American Ninja Warrior Mondays at 8 o'clock on NBC. I don't know. You know, I mean, I'd probably just quote my dad. I'd probably just say, "Life is short. Do what makes you happy." And that's, you know, I don't think that means like, hey, just sit around, play video games, and eat nachos. I think it's like pursue something that you're passionate about is really what that means about makes you happy. You know, like take a swing at something where you feel this is something I love. This is something that feels important to me, that I feel like I was meant to do. I don't know if it's like find your why. I hear a lot of different people talking about that, but that idea of you know it's especially for young kids. And this is interesting. I think I always like talking to kids in high school and college because I think there's always an idea of you have to know what you're going to do with the rest of your life. And I'm like, oh, you don't, because life is such a marathon. And it's that thing of don't be afraid to try different things on, and don't be afraid to say I don't know what I want to do, but I'm going to try some things, and hopefully find something I'm good at, something where I can earn a living, where I can provide for myself. But to take some of those chances, I think like don't be afraid. Like life, on Ninja Warrior we see it. Everybody falls, and they fall a lot, and again and again. And that's okay as long as you get back up and try again and you keep getting better. And you might not be able to get through something after a year or 5 years or 10 years, but I love it with Ninja Warriors. We see the people who put the work in, who keep doing it, who just are determined to get somewhere. Those people, those are the ones who really are the best. Those are the ones who do something special. So I think it is that kind of idea of, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Don't be afraid to fall.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Um, so what subject could you give a TED Talk on, even though you are totally unqualified on that subject?
Oh, well, you mean am I a master BSer? I think, listen, that's my job. I run my mouth. I think I'm very good. So there was actually, I took an improv class, Maya, and they would have us do that where they would go up and they would just say, you are a professor or you're the CEO and here's your company or product or you're giving a lecture on this. And you just had to BS it. And I found it was one of those things where I was pretty good at that. So I think if I had to do it, it would be yeah. What? Well, I'm trying to. Yeah, I don't know. Space travel. I think I'd be good at that because I played enough video games where I could talk about thrust vectors and dealing with Van Allen belt radiation. Where you have enough where you sound plausible, but ultimately anyone who actually knew what the subject was would be like, this guy's BSing. But I think I could get through it. I think I would love to do that on space travel, aliens, something like that.
I love that. Yeah, I would watch that. And
Or Harry Potter. That's actually a subject. Well, I do know a lot about Harry Potter, so I could. That's not BSing, I guess.
yeah. I love that. Um, so I love inspiring and motivational quotes. And this week, my favorite quotation is by an author who I don't know how to pronounce their name. But it's pain is inevitable, suffering is optional.
Mm.
Um, is there a quotation that has inspired you lately?
Um. Yeah. So I was just. This is funny. It was actually a commercial. It was a print commercial for Nike, and the guy I was just with, the friend who I was with from high school. We joke about this because he'd had this quote up, and it was Barry Sanders. It was a Nike ad, and it just listed this thing like you know throw the pass, swing the bat, ask the girl out, do it, because it's like you have nothing to lose and you have everything to gain. And it's that idea of, I think so often we hold ourselves back imagining what will happen if we fail instead of just go for it, because you'll find out that the failures don't hurt nearly as much as you think, and that sometimes those successes come a lot easier if you just keep trying, if you commit yourself to being that person. So I think it's a kind of, it really is embracing that idea too about, there's no such thing or good or bad, but thinking makes it so. That idea of so much of it is how do we react to things? How do we worry about things? And I think, for me, I know one of the things that I struggle with, particularly with a cell phone in my hand, is being present. And so I think that's one of those things about we get in trouble when we get in our heads thinking about the past or the future or these things we can't control. But when you really are present, I think that's when you can be at your best. And that's not to say ignore the future or whatever, but it is this idea of, hey, be present, think about what you need to take care of.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's a great quote.
You're inspiring me, Maya. I gotta you had that was a good one you had.
Thank you. Um, well, that was my final question for you. I've had the best time talking with you. Thank
Uh,
you so much for joining me.
Maya, it's been my pleasure. I love your energy. I love your positivity. It's just great talking to you. I love the fact that we have a shared high school together, that we walk the same halls. I just wish you the best, Maya.
Oh, thank you. You too. Yeah, and again, I can't thank you enough for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You do the same, Maya. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's a wrap on today's edition of the latest with Maya.